Up with KREM begins now.
6 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Good morning and thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham. We also want to welcome you in if you're streaming us on KREM 2+. Let's start things off on this Tuesday morning with a look at your weather forecast. And Regan, this certainly doesn't feel like the first week of January. Normally it's a little bit colder this time of year.
Yeah, Tim, we are having, lower to the normal conditions for snow for sure. So dry for most of the week and just overcast skies right now. We're still sitting at 32 degrees, just at freezing. What I will say, it's going to be cold. It's really not going to get above 35 for most of the day. And let's take a look at the next 12 hours to see that there. Yep, 35 through about 4 o'clock in the afternoon today. We're not really moving much from there. Overcast skies. And then late tonight, while we were all in bed and asleep, then we're going to get some maybe patterns of a wintry mix for our morning on Wednesday. But today is looking pretty clear.
Let's take you live outside now to I-90 and Geiger Boulevard there in the western part of Spokane County. Right now, traffic is moving nice and smoothly in this area. On Up with KREM, we do keep a close eye on the traffic conditions all morning long. If there's any major backups or crashes, we'll let you know about it here first here on the show. We bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. This morning, the Nez Perce County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly crash on Old Spiral Highway. Officers say someone driving an SUV left the road and landed in a ravine yesterday morning. 3 people were inside the vehicle, 1 died and 2 were hospitalized. Officers are trying to find out who was driving, but are asking if you know anything, call the number there on your screen. New in the last 12 hours, Spokane City Council approved a $500,000 settlement to the fiancé of a man Spokane police shot multiple times. In September of 2022, Spokane police shot and killed Robert Bradley, saying they shot him because they thought he was reaching for his weapon. His fiancée, Sarah McLaughlin, told KREM 2 they were unloading their car after camping, and Bradley was bringing his guns inside from his van. After an independent investigation, the Spokane County prosecutor concluded the shooting was justified, meaning the officers who fired their guns would not face any criminal charges. McLaughlin filed a wrongful death lawsuit in August of last year, arguing her fiancé's death was not justified. In December, McLaughlin agreed to dismiss her claims for $500,000. In yesterday's City Council meeting, people spoke for and against the settlement.
The officers acted in self-defense, and I applaud them for their quick and decisive actions in what was clearly a life-threatening situation.
What happened with Robert Bradley was unacceptable. I support the settlement. In fact, it should be doubled.
Council voted 5-2 approving the $500,000 settlement. The family's attorney says the federal trial for this lawsuit is set for November 12th, and they're seeking $50 million in damages if the case goes to trial. New information this morning about a shooting at a gas station in Coeur d'Alene. Police say the shooting happened during a Facebook marketplace sale for about $60 worth of jewelry. It happened on Friday afternoon at the 76 gas station on West Appleway Avenue. Officers say a friend drove an 18-year-old from Spokane to Coeur d'Alene after responding to a Facebook ad to buy the jewelry. Coeur d'Alene police say the teen tried to take the items without paying. The 19-year-old seller then fired at the car, shooting the driver twice to prevent them from leaving. The 18-year-old is charged with grand theft, while the shooter is charged with aggravated assault and battery. The driver is in the hospital but is expected to be okay. Anyone who was at the gas station at the time of the shooting is asked to call the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. That number is there at the bottom of your screen. A Hayden, Idaho animal shelter found homes for more than 1,400 animals last year, but Champions Animal Center says it's still at capacity. Development Director Vicki Nelson says they expect an increase in homeless dogs and cats this year. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press report there is a lengthy list of names of people wanting to surrender dogs. A new wing with room for about 30 dogs is expected to open later this month.
We stand ready to hold up Idaho as an shining example of how to properly and minimally govern, which starts and ends with keeping promises to the people we serve.
Idaho Governor Brad Little is making big promises as a part of his annual State of the State address. This morning, our Shannon Mowdy breaks down some of his proposals for the new year.
Governor Little is recommending lawmakers support several investments in education, infrastructure, and public safety. As Idaho Governor Brad Little enters his 6th year in office, he's making big promises, what he calls his Keeping Promises plan.
There is no doubt Idaho's on a roll.
One of Little's major priorities in the new year, what he calls a continued trend of tax relief.
We promised Idahoans historic tax relief and delivered back-to-back tax cuts.
He's proposing $100 million in additional tax cuts. Education is another key priority. Little says the public charter school system offers families more options, transparency, and accountability. He's recommending a $50 million revenue adjustment for more education options.
I recognize the growing desire to expand school choice, especially for students with unique physical or developmental conditions.
Little says this system will not take money from public schools, which he says is his first funding priority. He's promised $150 million for public schools. But Idaho's Education Association expressed disappointment at the private school voucher plan. A statement from President Lane McAnally says, in part, rather than siphoning public tax dollars for-profit, private, or religious schools, we should invest in the future of our children by finally ending the state's chronic underfunding of education. Little says since he took office, Idaho's crime rate has gone down 17%.
My Keeping Promises plan includes the addition of a new prosecutor in North Idaho who will solely focus on putting away drug traffickers.
$85,000 will fund the new Special Assistant U.S. Attorney in Coeur d'Alene, focused on the drug trade along I-90 and Highway 95. You can watch the governor's full address right now on KREM 2+. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Good morning. If you are just tuning in to KREM 2 at the 6 o'clock hour, not much is going on for your Tuesday. Dry conditions, overcast skies. Right now, we're right at freezing at 32 degrees. We're only going to see a high of 35 for today. And what does that mean for later this week? Well, for tonight in the late hours, it does change a little bit. We'll see some light snow in the mountains with freezing drizzle Wednesday morning. But for this morning, we're looking good.
And there may be some exceptions to it. I have to look.
The results of the 2024 presidential election have been certified. Now, people are pointing to President-elect Trump's promise to pardon the January 6th rioters. In the next 6 minutes, our Verify team finds out if he has the power to do that. On Thursday, the Seattle Kraken are taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets on KSKN 22. Your spot to watch Kraken games all season long. The Kraken are looking to bounce back after yesterday's loss against the New Jersey Devils. Watch the Kraken on KSKN 22 starting at 3:30 p.m. Plus, this weekend, KREM 2 is your home for the NFL wildcard weekend. On Saturday, catch head coach Jim Harbaugh's Chargers take on the Texans at home at 1:30 p.m. Then on Sunday, watch rookie quarterback Bo Nix take on Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills at 10 a.m. Now let's take you live outside over downtown Spokane with a live look of the skate ribbon and look at those lights on the Christmas tree downtown. Happy Tuesday to you, Inland Northwest. Let us know where you're watching from this morning. Grab a cup of coffee and join us for more Up with KREM.